Marjorie Taylor Greene in court and on the stand today, defending herself and her right to run for re-election, which is facing a direct challenge from a group of Georgia voters. They say her actions around the January 6th riot should disqualify her from holding office. Under oath, Greene defended herself and still insists Donald Trump won the 2020 election. Amara Walker is out front.
An extraordinary day in court as Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene took the stand.
Truth told truth, and that's what the truth said he got.
In a hearing to determine if the Republican lawmaker is constitutionally disqualified from running for re-election because of any role she may have played in the January 6th insurrection. Greene still pushing the big lie.
You believed that Joe Biden had lost the election to Mr. Trump, right?
Well, yes, we saw a tremendous amount of voter fraud.
But continuing to deny prior knowledge of what would happen on January 6th.
You were aware that people were going to make noise outside the Capitol as a means to disrupt the proceedings inside the Capitol. Is that fair?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Prior to January 6, 2021, had you heard that people were planning to enter the Capitol building illegally in order to disrupt the electoral count process?
No, absolutely not.
Greene also unable to recall her conversations with other lawmakers.
You didn't talk to anybody in government about the fact that there were going to be large protests in Washington on January 6th.
I don't remember.
You spoke to Representative Biggs or his staff about that fact, didn't you?
I do not remember.
How about Representative Gosar?
Sorry, I don't remember.
Using the same defense when asked about some of her controversial social media posts.
Did you like a post that said it's quicker, that a bullet to the head would be a quicker way to remove Nancy Pelosi from the role of Speaker?
I have had many people manage my social media account over the years. I have no idea who liked that.
Greene frequently objected to the line of questioning.
You sound like you have as many conspiracy theories as QAnon at this point.
But maintained that her objections on January 6th were political free speech, not advocating violence.
You used the term 1776 to describe, in response to a question from the Newsmax broadcaster, right?
I was speaking about objecting.
Well, he asked you, what is your plan? What are you prepared to have go down tomorrow on January 6th? And your response was, tomorrow is our 1776 moment, right?
I was talking about the courage to object.
Greene's attorneys focusing on her own fears that day.
Were you a victim of the attack?
Yes, I was. I was in the House chamber when it happened.
Even though Greene still defended some of those charged in connection with the insurrection as patriots.
Some of them are veterans, yes. Some of them definitely are patriots.
At the core of the case, a provision of the 14th Amendment barring American officials from future office if found aiding or engaging in an insurrection.
This is not politics. This is not theater. This is a serious case.
The outcome in Georgia could set a precedent for similar challenges against other Republican officials for their roles in the insurrection.
We're going to the Capitol.
Including against former President Donald Trump if he runs again in 2024. Now, the judge is expected to make a decision sometime early next month on whether or not Marjorie Taylor Greene should be disqualified from running for re-election. He will then make his recommendation to the Georgia Secretary of State, who will then make a final determination. Now, Kate, keep in mind this insurrection disqualification clause in the 14th Amendment is from the Civil War era. So that means that this provision has never been tested in modern history, and that will make it likely an uphill battle for the challengers. Kate.
Amara, thank you very much for that. Joining me right now, David Ehrenberg, State Attorney for Palm Beach County, Florida. It's good to see you, David. How strong of a case do you think this is against Marjorie Taylor Greene after, I mean, Amara really put it all together very well?
I think it's going to be an uphill battle because no one, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, has been charged with the crime of insurrection stemming from January 6th. And there's a reason for that. The Department of Justice has deemed that it's easier to charge someone with obstruction of an official proceeding. It's easier to prove, and you get more years in prison if you're found guilty. And so they're using that statute. So don't expect anyone to be charged with insurrection, and that makes it harder to prevail here. Also, her testimony today didn't quite establish that she planned violence or coordinated with rioters for January 6th. And also, although there's no requirement for Marjorie Taylor Greene to be charged with insurrection, to be found to be guilty of this offense here in this administrative hearing and thrown off the ballot, it's up to a state court to create this new precedent, because, as was said, this is uncharted territory, and state court judges don't like to be the first one to create something new, especially when it comes to bouncing a sitting member of Congress out of her job.
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to play some more of what Marjorie Taylor Greene said on the stand today. Listen to this.
You think that Speaker Pelosi is a traitor to the country, right?
I'm not answering that question. It's speculation. It's hypothetical.
You've said that, haven't you, Ms. Greene, that she's a traitor to the country?
No, I haven't said that.
Okay. Put up Plaintiff's Exhibit 5, please.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on now. I believe by not upholding the securing the border, that violates her oath of office.
One example of how it played out in the few hours that she was on the stand. Do you think Greene helped herself or her defense in what she did on the stand?
Well, if she's ultimately bounced from the ballot or charged with perjury because she lied, I think, throughout this hearing, then yes, she would have clearly hurt herself. But proving perjury is a lot tougher. And that's why she kept saying, I don't recall. She clearly talked to a lawyer here, and she's trying to avoid a perjury trap. So I don't know if she'll ever be charged. But as far as whether she hurt herself in the court of public opinion, that's to be decided. Her detractors will continue to despise her, and her supporters will probably continue to love her. One thing, though, is that she seemed to backtrack a little bit there and be a little hesitant. And that's something that could upset some of her true believer supporters who are living in this crazy world, who thinks everything's a conspiracy and all Democrats are pedophiles. I mean, when she was asked if Nancy Pelosi's a traitor and she backtracked on that, I think that could hurt her standing amongst her real hardcore supporters who believe she is a traitor. So maybe in the long run, this could cost her a few votes and some campaign contributions.
We'll see. She did get applause from her supporters when she entered the courtroom this morning. It's good to see you, David. Thank you very much.